The bows and crossbows, the never solved problem, the endless clash between these two, and the important question: which one is better? They all have their specifics, their pros and cons, and most importantly, how to use them and have soldiers using them. So stay with me, because I am going to teach you some good things. Crossbows are really good early game. Why? Because they don't require a high skill to be used. Take this for example. This is the accuracy of a bow. You can see that when you aim with it for a long time, the crosshair goes wild. And the crossbow? Holding it for a long time doesn't make it inaccurate. That makes it possible for champions who are focusing their skills entirely on melee to be able to use a ranged weapon without having any problems. And the damage crossbows deal even with low skill is good. So that's a point for the crossbows. But what about the long run? What about the time when a few years have passed? What about when your skills are leveled up to 100, maybe 200 or even more? Here's a quick comparison between the damage of a bow and a crossbow. In both clips I have 300 skill in each weapon and the best perks possible. As you can see, with the bow you can deal about 20 more damage when hitting the head of a heavy armor unit. A point for the bow. Speaking of perks, they are something that we can't just ignore. And the reason for that is that these two have some amazing perks, and once again there are differences between the early game crossbow perks and the late game bow perks. For example, the crossbow has this perk that reduces the cost of recruiting ranged units by 20%. That is a level 25 crossbow perk, which you can get if you have a single skill point on crossbow as a melee champion, allowing you to pay less gold for ranged soldiers. But on the other side, the bow skill has a perk that reduces both the recruitment cost and the upgrade cost of ranged soldiers, not by 20%, but by 30%. While the topic is still the gold aspect of perks, we can also include the late game level 250 perk of the crossbow, which reduces the wage of ranged soldiers by half if they are tier 4 or higher. Yet another difference in the scaling and usage of crossbows in early game we can see in the following two perks. Crossbow has a perk that ignores any armor below 20 armor points. That armor is usually worn by tier 1 or tier 2 troops, so something like bandits, recruits, low tier troops, you get it. Hitting them will ignore their armor. But once you become a vassal or want to have your own kingdom, you will match up against units that are higher tiers and they have better armor, so that perk isn't going to be really useful unless you can hit the arms or the feet of the enemy units. The bow skill has a perk that ignores 10% of the enemy armor, no matter the armor points. But crossbow has the exact same perk too, then why not just play crossbow and get that one? That's right, but then the bow has this exclusive perk increasing damage by 8%, and damage wise we already came to the conclusion that bows are better late game. Because both of these skills have nice perks depending on your playstyle, both of them are getting a point. When talking about horse archery, we should mention a few things. Both the bows and crossbows have weapons that can't be used while riding a horse. Both of them have perks that remove that limitation. For now everything looks even, but There are only 2 units in the game that use crossbows on horseback, and both of them are mercenaries. This makes it incredibly hard to get these 2 units and use them in your army so they can benefit from your crossbow perks. In case you are wondering, these 2 units are the Sister Mercenaries and the Imperial Caravan Guard. Everyone else is using bows. One more point for bows. And to be honest, crossbows on horseback look a bit weird. This couldn't pass without putting up a fight between bowmen and crossbowmen. For this I picked the 2 best units in these categories, the Battanian Fian Champions and the Vlandian Sharpshooters. Unfortunately, the Battanian Fian Champions are tier 6 and the Vlandians are tier 5. And in the 10 fights we had, the Battanian archers had absolutely no problem cleaning up the sharpshooters. But because of the tier difference, I decided to try it with the Battanian Fian versus the Vlandian sharpshooters. Both of these units are tier 5. Out of the 10 fights we had, the crossbowmen won. Well, all of them. They were also matched up against Sturge's best archers and Asarai's best archers, but the results were the same, a win for the crossbowmen. We can conclude that they are superior to the same tier of enemy bowmen, but can't really deal with the Battanian Fian champions. After all, they have a bow skill of 260. And lastly, there are some other stuff making bows better. One of them is the rate of fire. The bow was able to shoot 10 arrows in 22 seconds, while it took the crossbow 41 seconds. It is also possible to move while reloading your bow, in contrast to the crossbow, which will leave you immobilized and easy to catch if enemies chase you. I am sure you can point out other pros and cons of these 2 weapons in the comments below. Now, I want you to go to the comment section and type down what weapon you use, why, and have you ever tried the other one. Overall, the bow wins, but I believe that it's better to use whatever suits you more. Even if it is a crossbow on horseback. Who even plays that thing? If this video was helpful to you, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and if you have any questions regarding the melee weapons, click on this video right here. Thanks for watching and I will see you next time.